2010 began with a deadly earthquake in Haiti, and before the year ended, more than 20 earthquakes struck worldwide, reaching a magnitude of 7 or higher, the largest number of major earthquakes in 40 years. Unfortunately, that trend continues, most recently in New Zealand.
They've gone home, they've escaped the carnage and the destruction of their office environment, made it home alive to find that their house has been damaged or even destroyed.
The U.S. hasn't been immune. Last year, earthquakes injured people in California and Oklahoma. For years, we've heard about the San Andreas Fault along the West Coast. But did you know fault lines crisscross the Heartland? It was along one of these lines just last October when the second largest quake ever to strike Oklahoma hit near Norman, injuring 2 people. A local man was taping his video sports blog when the earthquake hit.
Kansas State playing we just had an earthquake.
It was felt very strongly throughout the state and from Dallas to Kansas City as well.
Seismologist Austin Holland works for the Oklahoma Geological Survey. He tells CBN News the Sooner State has definitely seen a spike in quake activity. More than 1,000 were recorded in 2010 alone, most too small to be felt. Before that, the largest number of quakes recorded in a year, felt and not felt, was 167.
I get calls from people that are very frazzled and just want them to stop.
Holland says one reason for the significant increase is more monitoring stations are online. But that's only part of the story.
My working hypothesis, and this certainly could change through time, is that these are small faults responding to stresses that are being built up over very long time frames from the plate boundaries.
Scientists believe the Earth's crust is made up of several large plates that move relative to each other. Faults are the boundaries of the plates, and when they slip, an earthquake can happen.
The plate boundaries are squeezing the central part of the United States from all the interactions of the tectonic plates surrounding North America. And you have an earthquake that occurs, and that changes the stress ever so slightly next to it, and so another earthquake occurs, and it's just sort of like a zipper unzipping. It kind of just goes down the line.
Before 2009, Oklahomans experienced on average only about 3 felt earthquakes each year. In 2009, that number jumped to 43, and last year it skyrocketed to around 100 felt earthquakes. Many of them were felt here in Jones, Oklahoma, a small town east of Oklahoma City. Around 2,500 people live in Jones. The population may be small, but residents here have witnessed an incredible amount of earthquakes.
There's 700 events just in this tiny little area in Oklahoma County.
Of those 700 events, residents felt more than 65 of them. A huge number when you consider the entire state of Oklahoma averages only 3 felt quakes each year. Jones Mayor Ray Poland grew up in California along the San Andreas Fault.
Coming from California, everybody would have thought I would have experienced an earthquake before, but had no idea what it was like until I'd been in Jones, Oklahoma.
So far, the biggest quake in the Jones area has been around a 4.2.
Rattled some walls, kind of shook some windows, shook some people up, but nothing to where there's any significant damage been reported in Jones.
Although this increase hasn't led to much damage, Holland doesn't want residents here to become complacent. Case in point, the Mears Fault. It's the largest in Oklahoma and considered the most hazardous. Holland says its last major quake happened 1,300 years ago, a 6.5 to 7 magnitude. Does that mean Middle America could see a big one anytime soon?
The odds are low, but it is a real possibility that an earthquake could occur somewhere in the mid-continent.
Oklahoma's neighbor to the east, Arkansas, is experiencing a swarm of earthquakes as well. More than 800 quakes have hit the north-central part of the state since September. The largest one to shake Arkansas in 35 years struck just last month. It reached a magnitude 4.7. Scientists are studying if there's a connection between the earthquakes and local injection wells. The natural gas industry injects pressurized water deep in the ground to create fractures to help free the gas. However, researchers also cannot ignore that parts of Arkansas are in the New Madrid seismic zone. It's the nation's most active earthquake zone east of the Rocky Mountains. This year marks the 200th anniversary of the infamous New Madrid earthquakes. the most powerful series of quakes in American history. Striking along the fault in 1811 and 1812, the largest of the quakes was centered in the southeast Missouri town of New Madrid. The earthquakes changed the flow of the Mississippi River, transformed rich farmland into fields of sand, and destroyed countless structures. A huge earthquake in this area today would affect around 15 million people across 7 different states.
Earthquakes are a national hazard, and it's in these areas away from California, away from the places we think about, where there can be some of the greatest risk.
No one can predict an earthquake, but scientists believe it's only a matter of time before another major event hits the Heartland. In fact, the federal government is concerned enough that it's planning a major exercise this year to prepare agencies for the possible big one in Middle America. Mark Martin, CBN News, Oklahoma.